Hey guys, so you can see the rains have arrived in Tanzania. Long awaited and much needed for our shamba, our farm. Mount Kili's ahead of me there, so it gives you an idea. We are very happy about this because there's been floods in Kenya and everyone was getting worried because with flooding in Kenya we were worried that the rainfall might not come because there's so much has fell in Kenya. Maybe there wasn't enough to come over the border to our area. We're not that far from the border where we are in Tanzania here, so the rains have arrived, and it's, as I say, so much of a blessing. And when you live in the West, you know, you don't pick up on it. And when you're here, I understand why religions were often based around the seasons and the weather. It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense. And our modern day religions still have, you know, the solstices and the equinoxes on Christmas time and so on and so forth. So it's still part of religious teachings, just in a different form. But living here in a way where everyone around you is dependent upon the land, you get it. It makes sense because I'm so happy the rain is here. Because everyone around me without it wouldn't have food. Now on another level it would have meant a lot more work for myself and for the Children's Fund and the NGO, because they would have turned to the point of help for this area, which is us. We are the ones who help here. So this is where they would have came for food. And whereas we might have had finance to buy it, we'd have had to buy it from Kenya or places where it has rained, which means the price would have been much higher because it would be a buyer's market. So the relief is something very special, and it makes you want to celebrate welcoming a weather on a much deeper and innate spiritual level. And this is the problem with modern religion. It's disconnected itself from nature, and that isn't what was supposed to happen. That's not what was taught. Instead, we've built ourselves temples of brick and stone and sharp angles and edges and garnished it with man-made trinkets, and we go to worship inside there. When you think about it, every single one of the messiahs that walked the earth, they lived as tribespeople. Even Jesus. Even Jesus lived as a tribesman. He walked with his tribe. He walked with his disciples in the wilderness. And that for all they were more dependent upon charity, the food they were given was dependent upon the weather. And it's of importance that man and mankind, especially those in the Western systems who have handed over control of their food and of the growing of their food and the production of their food to profitable companies and corporations, it's important that they reconnect with Earth and understand and remember and teach their children where their food comes from. Teach them that a piece of meat is not a square red thing in a plastic packet. It was once a living entity that had to suffer and die so as you could eat it. Teach them that your food doesn't come pre-packaged. Someone had to work the land, often by machine now, but in this part of the world by hand. Hard work goes into it. They have to work the land and they have to labour for what they get. And it reconnects you in such a way when you're here in among it. And my biggest wish for the West is that they can find a way to reconnect their children. And the only way to do that is to stamp out the elite who have basically claimed all the land as their own due to the current laws which they wrote. If you can reclaim the land for the West, people power can overthrow the 1% who own most of it. Start doing communal farming. Then religions would begin to make sense to people. You would know why you celebrate the end of winter. You would understand that it means, yeah, we've got food coming again. The hard times are over. And you would understand why there were rain gods and sun gods and so on and so forth. And before you say that's paganism, as I pointed out in my other videos, most religions have their roots in paganism. Most of them. They are not only the message of messiahs and the journey of a living messiah, but also the message of the sun in the sky throughout the year. as I pointed out in my other videos regarding Jesus, for example. But this is true of other esoteric texts and messiahs. But I'm just so passionate about this, and if we can get the message across to the West that it matters if it rains, it matters if the food comes, it matters if the seasons change as they should, then people would start feeling joy away from the need for technology, and like the locals will be here today celebrating because they've had a gift from God as they see it, because the rain has come and their families will eat this year. And I wish nothing more, as I say, for that to come back to the West. Just as a family might celebrate when someone gets a new job in the West, it would be nice if the West could somehow reconnect and celebrate when the rain comes, or when the sun comes, or when a season shifts as it should. So, right, I'm going to get in because there's a big thunderstorm above me and I'm standing out in the open with an umbrella, so it's not the wisest of decisions to make. Okay, much love from a very happy Uchira. So, okay, bye guys.